The term mansplaining is used quite a bit.
Wait, let me interrupt you.
Yeah.
You may think you know what mansplaining is, but maybe if you opened up your tiny little girl brain for a second,
Thank you.
I'll explain to you. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, there is a great example. It's like how to know if you're mansplaining. If you speak like Nando towards me, there it is. That's a hack.
There are times when I'm all by myself and I concentrate as hard as I can to see if I can't make myself catch on fire like the Human Torch. And mark my words, newbie, if I ever pull it off, I will be back here to destroy this place.
So I found a video from Wamen and her pet over at Think Tank, which is such a ridiculous name for this channel, as I don't think a lot of thinking goes into these videos. And they're explaining to us about the perils for the modern day Wamen, and in particular mansplaining, as apparently women on a day-to-day basis have to face this horrible beast that society has brought. So let's check it out.
But we're going to get into what mansplaining really means and how to know if you yourself are mansplaining. So the term mansplaining is often credited as being created by the writer Rebecca Solnit, who defines it as the intersection between overconfidence and cluelessness, where some portion of that gender gets stuck.
So my biggest question to the Wamen and her pet is, I don't know how sex has anything to do with any of the explanations for mansplaining or man interrupting, as it should be just translated into an obnoxious person that both men and women can be. Both of them can be this. And her examples are ludicrous. They can just be pulled apart so easily, as I'll show you in about 2 minutes.
So very blatant examples of this is like when somebody on Twitter corrects like a PhD scientist female on her science, like, right? A guy like goes in and corrects somebody who's clearly an expert, but he wants to correct her science for some reason. He's not an expert.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to apologize.
Why did you say ladies first? That's sexist.
It's just a standard greeting. Let me start over. Gentlemen and ladies.
Who says the man?
Okay, sorry. Humans in the audience.
I identify as a basketball.
So if a Wamen did the exact same thing, Sassy, and that's what I'm going to call you because you have it blazoned across your tits, is that okay to you? Why is it so important that a man is doing this? Maybe he's just an idiot. He's not doing it because, oh look, woman, me must be better. In your story, there's no indication of this.
Right, so there's scenarios like that. Now, there are also some when you're in person besides Twitter, because Twitter I think it's a little bit more obvious. There are also some body language cues that you can look at to see if somebody is mansplaining, right?
Some of these body cues include folding your arms. I'm not kidding you. This is how insane it has gotten.
So they had a body language expert sort of break this down. Now, space is a dead giveaway when it comes to identifying mansplaining. Whether consciously or unconsciously, the mansplainer often surges into unoccupied space to make himself seem larger or to physically intimidate the mansplainee.
Yet men do this to each other all the time in business, Sassy. It's just when a Wamen gets involved, it's, oh, sexism. It's just a technique used to gain control of the situation. There are other techniques you can use to negate it, make them look foolish. It's got nothing to do with the fact that she's a Wamen. This is so ludicrous. You'd be so useless in a business environment, because you just flip out and freak out and everyone would freaking avoid you.
You can sort of see this here, but also when we were watching the Republican debate, the third one, right? When Trump was like physically entering the space, you can see that he's trying to take up that space and use that as a means to sort of, I guess, like speak over Hillary Clinton.
Humans and basketballs.
I'm a parrot who mimics words but doesn't comprehend them.
Humans, basketballs, talking parrots, and whatever else is out there.
Whatever? It's whoever. Actually, it's whomever.
Yes, in a presidential debate, the candidate does want to look like a leader. He does want to look like he's in charge, he's controlling the room. Once again, this has nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. he did that to the men as well. It's just you're either too dumb to know this or you're being disingenuous.
Right? And so I think that's often used, and you can space, whether that be physical space, but also I just think space in like the room, right? When you're thinking about how loud people are speaking, and like when somebody's trying to speak over you or take credit for your ideas and things like that can be a form of mansplaining.
Ow, please explain this to me. Really, talking loudly is now mansplaining. And what, taking someone else's idea? You do realize men do that to other men as well all the freaking time. This is just, like I said, they call their channel Think Tank. And then they just throw out these wild, baseless claims. And then you're like, yep, that's right, let's move on to the next point.
So experts say that it can involve actually moving into that physical space like we spoke about, but also more subtle moves to like manspread into empty air, like folding arms, putting feet up on a desk, or putting hands in a belt loop.
Are you actually serious? Crossing your arms and putting your fingers in your belt loops is mansplaining now. Yep, okay. And Pet, I might start cutting out all your points, as you are just completely cucked that you're basically just her. Her hand is shoved so far up your ass that it must be quite painful.
So if you were like,
do people still do that?
You would be surprised like at the moves that men make when you're talking to them sometimes. That's just, it's almost like trying to be intimidating, but like show that you're taking up more space. So if you're speaking to a man and he like puts his hand up on the wall like next to you, or if he's just like clearly like bored and whatever while you're speaking or something like that, or just like, you know, relaxing or something like that, and you are trying to speak about something important, it's a means of sort of taking up and showing that your opinion or what you have to say is not worthy.
No one likes you, Mary.
All right, just calm down, okay?
Now you're tone policing us.
That makes me uncomfortable. Anything that makes me uncomfortable in 2017 should be illegal.
You know what?
Maybe it's the fact that your opinion is so ludicrous that he's insanely bored as he already understands where you're going and probably wants you to leave so you don't cry sexism for, say, if he, I don't know, checks his watch or crosses his arms. Maybe that's the reason?
Yeah, exactly. Another way is raising your voice, like I said, and speeding up the conversation as a way of asserting dominance, a sort of verbal iteration of manspreading. Another one. There's a lot of man stuff going on in this video.
Wasn't manspreading where, you know, guys had their legs open because we have testicles and thus we don't want to crush them? Wasn't that manspreading? Verbal manspreading? This is basically verbal diarrhea?
But yeah, sort of just trying to dominate the conversation in general is a way of mansplaining. Perhaps most importantly, if you want to know if you're mansplaining, just ask yourself, was your explanation requested? So I get a little bit worried about like that one, right?
That's the one that makes you worry, not the one where a guy crossing their arms or checking their watch, they're now apparently being sexist assholes. That doesn't worry you whatsoever. But hey, at least you are worried about something in this insane feminist wet dream. At least you're worried about something. That's a plus.
Because sometimes I do think that people, like you, if you have an opinion or something like that, of course you can interject, right? And I think that is important, but I think it's also important to be attuned to the situation and see, like, if you are somebody's giving like a keynote speech and they're clearly an expert in their field and you're gonna say something that maybe you're not positive that you're, you know, right on or something like that, but you wanna, you know, exert your opinion or something like that, maybe take a second back and like think about that before you do that.
I'm not a racist, all right? I just told a bad joke. There's a huge difference, but nobody on the internet ever takes the time to ask themselves, is this worth freaking out over? Or are there bigger problems in the world than this tweet? Well, I assure you there are.
These examples are so bad. So, a Nobel laureate is giving a keynote speech and people are just randomly interrupting them? See, it's all about the context here. Say if I'm a personal assistant to a bunch of managers and they're talking about something in the company, I'm not going to interject, as that's stepping out of my lane. But if we're all equals, then I'm going to give my opinion. And if someone's like, well, was your opinion asked for? I don't give a crap if my opinion was asked for or not. We're equals here. I'm giving my freaking opinion. Who gives you the right to tell me not? That's the whole point. And you're saying I'm sexist for wanting to give my opinion. It's just all about control.
Have you seen mansplaining in action?
Yes.
Who cares, Sassy? That guy's a white male. He's probably going to mansplain it to you anyway, so let's move on.
You know, if I was doing another job, maybe I wouldn't be, but
How have you seen mansplaining unfold?
well, I see it often in corporate.
Stop talking, you dirty mansplaining white male. Let's move on.
Thank you.
What's an example? Like, have you been mansplained upon?
I have. In college, I used to be mansplained a lot because I was an economics minor, and so unfortunately, there were not a lot of women in my economics classes.
There was a lot of women in the nursing classes. Oh, but you don't care about that, do you? When women make up the majority, that's equality. Like Wakanda with 90% black cast, that's diversity. I love this type of logic. It's fascinating. And maybe it was just because they were smarter than you, not because you're a Wamen, because you're an idiot. I'm guessing if there was a normal, sane woman that was taking the same class as you were, they would do well. It's just you as a person, as an individual.
They would come and they would like correct my work, and they would be like, "Oh no, you don't understand. Like this is how it works." Da 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 da. And then like
the irony
I
being
did
that,
way better on all the tests than they did. So I was like, "All
and
right."
The irony being that it's well known that economics departments are just wrong about because economics is not a real science the way like biology is
right.
or something.
And just for the record, I love black people. I watch tons of black porn. So what do you all want from me? Huh? Do you want to ruin my life? Then congratulations, you did it. Everybody hates me. I can't leave the house without getting harassed. No one will hire me.
That was a problem before.
I can't turn on my phone without strangers telling me to kill myself or that they're going to kill my family. Leave me alone!
Yeah, I don't think you top the classes, to be honest, and I'm sorry, white male, but I don't think we need any more mansplaining in this particular video. So if you could just go sit in the corner or something, mate, as, you know, you're just a puppet to her. Whatever you say is completely meaningless.
Especially because I could well, whatever, we don't have to
Yeah. So there was scenarios like that, which was just like obnoxious, and they would try to speak over me and tell me I was wrong. I was like, no, like I know I'm right, but thank you. And then I was recently in a situation where a guy tried to explain like feminism to me.
And of course, it's totally unthinkable that a man could know more than a Wamen about feminism, the holy book of feminism. That's just a completely flawed argument. You do realize that there are non-Muslims that know more about Islam than the Muslims do. They've studied it, they've spent 20 years on it. So what, is it because he's a non-Muslim, he just can't talk about it whatsoever? Jeez, your ideology and their ideology, they really do share some similarities.
Yes, that's important. I mean, I once got asked on a podcast.
Gotta train your pet better. It's speaking again. Please kindly tell it to go sit in that corner I was telling you about.
And but like you're woke. You know what like feminism is, and like.
And of course, you completely contradict yourself a couple of sentences later. You were getting so incredibly butthurt that a man would dare to try and inform you about feminism, and now you were saying that this woke man, which I really hate that term now, he can explain to a woman about feminism. Do you see how these two positions contradict each other? You absolute hypocrite. What the hell is wrong with this channel? Why did they call it think tank? Think tank? Really?
I think I am pretty well versed, and I'm like I love engaging in conversation about it, right? I mean, you guys see a lot of the videos here. Like, I think it's very interesting, and I'm passionate about it. That said, like, as a woman, I don't need to be corrected about how I'm carrying out my feminism wrong.
Well, then your movement's gonna utterly fail. If you can't take criticism from, say, 50% of the population, then yeah, it's gonna eventually die out. You'll alienate all the men and all the women that like men, and then you will just have your ideologues and your pets. Have fun with that.
Yeah, especially because like there's so many there's so
many iterations of it.
there's
Like,
so
it's
many
not a
iterations.
monolithic.
A guy who wears like a nasty woman T-shirt.
No, that's fine. That's too harsh. That's
like
too
a little.
harsh.
It's a little try hard, and it's like a little suspicious.
Mate, I left that clip in there because you are the last person on the planet to be claiming anyone else as being a tryhard or suspicious. Like, the couple of clips you've actually been in this video alone have shown them how cringy you are, but holy crap, the stuff I have left out. You are probably the most cucked human being alive. I'm surprised you are not sucking her dick in this video right now.
I would say.
Okay, so I think that there are genuine, wholehearted, hardcore male feminists, and I love those guys.
Well, Sassy, a lot of people love their pets, so I'm not really that surprised that you love yours.
There's also disingenuous, like hardcore feminists who use that as a means to not only get pink pussy hats, but also get
some.
Your opinion, once again, is completely irrelevant, Mr. Pet, and she's talking about you there, bud. You're the creepy, weird male feminist that has probably not really treated women too well, and is now overcompensating to the point where whatever she says, you'll just agree with.
I mean, there's a huge benefit, right? When you think about all the men that showed up for the Women's March and things like that, there's a huge benefit in having a male perspective and a male voice. But I agree with you, there are men who use that
as a
means to an end.
Yeah.
Now, you're not gonna get called out for mansplaining each time that you do it, but you have to go into every conversation aware that it exists and that you could be guilty of it, right? So at the very least, you should try putting yourself in the shoes of the person that you're talking to. And this is a really helpful sort of tip here.
What are you gonna do?
I thought I'd get your theories, mock them, then embrace my own.
Yes, it is. For you guys, especially you, Sassy. Please put yourself in the shoes of someone that you are telling them that if they cross their arms, if they check their watch, if they look a bit bored, they are now a sexist. You are telling them this. And then you're telling the people that you are victimizing to be more empathetic. Think about the other person. What's wrong with you guys? This is actually a little sadistic. It's like you're kicking a dog when it's down. What's wrong with you guys?
It's like, just be aware. Just be aware that of the dynamics of the conversation that you're having and how these sorts of conversations usually go. And then just think twice about the way that you're carrying yourself out.
Yeah.
It's not too hard, and it's okay if, like, you're gonna mess up.
Yeah.
We all mess up. Like, we all mess up. Like, when talking about gender and race and sexuality, like, we're all gonna mess up.
I'm the self-righteous liberal douchebag, not you. I've kissed a transsexual before. How many of you can say that? Where's my medal? I am so far left, I'm spinning in circles, you. Instead of killing myself, I should kill all of you.
I'm sorry, my queen, but if you could get down from your ivory tower for 1 second and realize that you are telling men that they just basically have to check their privilege, and that if they cross their arms or check their watch, they are now a sexist and they hate women. I'm sorry, me crossing my arms is not messing up in your authoritarian, insane world. You don't get to just control. Seriously, this is just some women can't handle high business environments, so they want to completely change it. Most women can. There are popular, successful women entrepreneurs. Watch Shark Tank. Watch those type of shows. You see them there. It's impressive. So they don't need you changing society to fit them.
And that's okay, but being aware and not getting defensive, which...
Well, I think that's an important.
I don't know if I've stated this enough, but I honestly don't care what you think. Moving on.
Very simple. Every opportunity is a learning opportunity.
Yes.
That's what we want to teach you guys here at Think Tank. I'm really curious if, guys, you have been called out for mansplaining, if you've caught yourself mansplaining. or seen it in other realms. I want to hear about those in the comments down below. And ladies, I want to hear if you have experienced mansplaining and what those experiences looked and felt like to you in the comments down below. And we'll see you guys soon.
Anyway, that's the end of the video, guys. A couple of announcements for the channel. I am unable to live stream for the next 90 days as I was setting up OBS because I wanted to get into this whole live streaming game. I got to the end stages and I was using a couple of copyrighted songs. I changed the pitch, thought it would be fine, but it wasn't. So yeah, I've set up a second live streaming channel. Check it out in the description box down below. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see any live streams. I'll be doing a Patreon stream tomorrow, so if you want to get on that, please come on over, support me on Patreon. I could really use the help as YouTube's being a bitch. But we're probably going to have a debate of some kind going on, or if not, I've got a couple of videos that I want to review, so I'll be testing out OBS over there. Finally, I've been asked to cover a video, which I will be doing, and if you have any video suggestions or people that you want me to cover, Discord, Twitter, Facebook, I'm always open to having a chat as well. And yeah, I'll catch you all later, guys.